with Janhvi, she would, during rehearsals, during scenes, she'll have like really pointers about the scene and like, very intelligent things to say and choices, and sometimes even about the character, some observations. They were all there. It's my contribution to the script. I wrote that gesture.
That is your...
That's true. That was
both the noise and the gesture also, I wrote that. So I want credit for it, and I want a national award also. I'm the best dry humper in the business. And I mean like in terms of like, like when you're doing a scene, you get best. Yeah, I figured it out, okay? I make people really comfortable. So,
yeah, you did.
So she was like, yeah, but did you have to say that word? So I get the point, yeah. Sometimes my words are like, can be a bit shocking.
A rumor about yourself that makes you laugh.
That me and Kalki were dating. Please, have you seen us together? We fight a lot. We can never date.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guests today are so talented. The amount of talent right now sitting next to me is incredible. Of course, talking about Gulshan Devaiah and Roshan Mathew, and the talent to bhar.
Roshan, Gulshan.
Gulshan and Roshan. I like the rhyming of it.
Yeah,
we speak easy and we speak easy. We also do ASMR.
We speak easy, absolutely easy.
ASMR.
Both of you have similarities. Theatre is something that both of you have done immensely and are obviously still fond of, and you all try doing it. Gulshan, I don't know if you still get the time to do theatre so much. You're retired. And of course, incredible amount of work. And the common other factor being that both of you have always tried to do absolutely diverse kind of roles.
Well
even
done.
though
Because you didn't say they both are from the south.
Gulshan?
But you said it. No.
Before she
Thank you, Roshan. Would you please take up for me here? Please
Before she
do.
said it,
this is
I'm
actually
being bullied.
going very well, and then
I know, thank you. It's an industry that very easily tries to stereotype you, but you all have managed to do diverse amount of work, which I think is incredible. Both of you, I'll give example of Bad Cop because it was recent for him, and for you, Cobra, just giving one of those examples.
Right.
To say that have also tried to do something that was way more massier than you have done in your lives,
Yeah.
Is it difficult? Sometimes is it fun to go back to that mainstream masala thing in between and then coming back to the zone, because this is where you...
No, aisa kuch zone, this is my zone, nothing is that. I am just like having fun. It's just fun to be an actor. And as many different zones I can be in, except for horror, that's something that I'm just not able to sort of, But I've said yes to 2 horror films, so let's see.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it's just so much fun, and then to do something in Bad Cop, which is like a completely like a masala take, a very 90s masala type, which is contemporized. To do something like that, to do this is a different sensibilities. So I don't say that this is my core sensibility. There is no such thing as core sensibility for me.
Core sensibility.
It's just that I have not gotten some people people know me with certain things, like you when you say Gulshan, certain films may occur to your mind, and then maybe those are the type of films that you like seeing or you remember seeing, that you feel that okay, these are the type of roles that he does. So but I don't feel that there is no compartmentalizing in my head.
But it's rare, right? My question is, I wouldn't see you doing too many masala action per se, right? Because it has to have that amount of meat. You yourself...
I don't get offered.
That.
Also, if I get offered, I mean I do, but then many times I have decided not to do because it didn't seem like interesting to me. Okay?
Yeah, like
maybe
Commando
this is
was
not for
last.
me, maybe this was somebody else. Yeah, Commando was there, and then so sometimes it's interesting. It really depends on the role and what is the premise and what are they giving you. Like here, take this, read this, and see how do you interpret this. It's about the opportunity also.
And Roshan, I give an example of Cobra. Of course, for you,
Right.
that was again, in your case, definitely something that you had not done.
Yeah.
And you were debuting in Tamil at that time. Of course,
Yeah.
Vikram is fantastic. And it was very interesting that you made that choice. I want to understand again, navigating through that and then coming back to, I'm not saying it's just what you want to believe in,
Yeah.
but the kind of films that you have done definitely are more towards realistic, content-driven films.
Yeah, number-wise, I guess like more in that area,
Yeah.
I would say. But that's not definitely out of choice. It's the opportunities that are coming. You can only pick out of what's been given. So I guess the decision sort of half made for you before people approach you for a particular project, which is precisely the reason why I jumped at Cobra when it came to me, because I listened to the story got a sense of what kind of project it was going to be, and I immediately knew one thing, which was that nobody was going to offer me this in Malayalam at that point. And I had to do it because this was my one chance to experience that. I wanted to see what it would feel like, and Cobra was the first time I was on a set with that many crew members. It was a huge set, and like 4 different cameras working at the same time, and like huge crew size, and massive set action sequences happening. I wanted to see all of that. I wanted to be part of all of that, and I had a lot of fun with it. I think with all of us actors, we have the tendency to and the desire to jump at like different things. Obviously, you have to be excited by it also, but a lot of decisions are made for you before the opportunities come your way.
Was your admiration for Vikram part of it as well?
Oh, definitely. He's I mean, like, most amount of humility I've seen in an artist is probably
So true.
him, and he's so incredibly in control of his craft.
You described the sets saying that it was the first time I saw that massive set. I think you felt similar when you went to
Bhansali.
Bhansali's set, right?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Expensive sets.
And you have worked in films that had very tight budgets because your again, your belief
Mr.
was
Bhansali also had a very tight budget.
वो थोड़े crores इधर उधर है.
थोड़े नहीं, बहुत सारे crores इधर उधर है. उससे पहले वो बहुत
Just
very
put it that
meticulous and is very time consuming, and then he takes his time, and that's the way that he has decided he's going to work, and everything has to work according to that. If there is one person whose women fancy everybody has to follow, it's Mr. Bhansali, because that's his vision, that's the way he works. You have to sort of be around and allow for that to happen. There's no other way of working. If you can't work like that, then you rather not do a film with him. He's going to ask you to do 100 takes sometimes, you have to do 100 takes. You have to.
Does that bother you?
It can be extremely tiring, but if it, yeah, sure, it bothers. I mean, I did like 15, 16, 17 takes or something. I was lucky that he didn't scream at me. He was very irritated and frustrated, but it was one of my bad days. But that's also a lesson, It's a lesson in humility, as a lesson that you can't get it right every time. I did not think, I had never imagined or fantasized about being in his film. So for me, it was like, I've got this opportunity. And I'm like, wow, look at all the stuff. And I was always constantly like, exploring every nook and cranny of the set, and observing how he directs and how he is like, blocking the scene, and how the camera is being placed, lighting. Lighting used to take 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes. And then maybe not, and then maybe another 5 hours. Things like that. At that point I thought it was luxury, and it is also luxury, but because that's why he is able to do the kind of work that he does. It's really, a lot of people try to imitate, but it's not, it doesn't have the same feel to it, I really enjoyed observing. I learned so much just looking at things.
Mr. Bhansali and the set, a lot of discussion is made about when you have to play complicated, maybe dark and grey characters, you have to probably put yourself in a certain situation. Like Ranveer had mentioned that for him, for Padmavas was something that would put him in a very dark zone. I want to know, when you all have played characters that are disturbing, I mean, you've played a psycho killer, so it must be crazy. I want to understand how you deal with that. Are you able to detach yourself? And do you feel, because there were also actors who feel like, of course you don't need therapy after these characters, and Prashant had come and said, I don't believe that Ranveer, saying that it makes sense and all of that. I want to understand
I've seen his process because I've worked with him, and he is quite intense. Like, he takes it
Ranveer.
Sometimes. Yeah, I will try to talk him out of it. Because sometimes it's too much. Like, I don't want to feel like that. For me, acting is fun, right? I can't be another person. I can pretend to be another person. I can be truthful to a character, to a scene, but I'm not interested in becoming somebody else and suffering their misfortunes. I don't want to do that. I want to have, it's an illusion that I want to create as an actor, and it is pretty much an illusion. Everything is a setup, right? It's an illusion. So the fun is in able to create that illusion. So I kind of insulated myself from not having a process. I dabbled with it during theatre. I had a pretty intense process, and the performances were great. It's just that it was so much work to do every time, and it wasn't fun. People around me were also not having fun together. It's like, oh, to apna hi kuch karta rehta hai. And like, it really, I felt really alienated from everybody else. There was no togetherness. It was such a very, I mean, I'm already in a selfish pursuit. Okay, this whole thing, like, you have, at some level it is. But I didn't want it to be not fun. I didn't want it to be not conducive to work with other people. Like, it wasn't fun for me. So for me, it's use of imagination, and it's creating that illusion, and the way I apply my skills is to achieve that, and it's never really to sort of take on a persona and then live with it and stuff. That's a price that I'm not willing to pay. But I guess for some actors, they are willing to pay that price. Like you hear this thing about this actor who was in that thing, Jeremy Strong. People talk about how he is, or Daniel Day-Lewis, and they're very intense actors who do, who won't break character.
But what you said makes a lot of sense. When you were giving advice to Ranveer to sort of come out of Zoom, did it help?
No, I didn't give advice.
Okay,
I said I wish I would. Like, I would talk to him like, bro, this is like too intense. Like, please, like
like breaking down.
Maybe on the maybe on the longer run, this is like really not good for you. You can't be like, because a lot of the circumstances are imaginary, or you're using your trauma to sort of do something else. That also is not very nice. It's not very good,
Can be a little self-destructive, I think, in nature.
Yeah, you can lose track of it. Like you can lose the plot, and like people who have access to help will do that. But people have no idea what they're doing; they just get lost. There's a line that a theatre director had once told me that there is, craft and there is madness. You have to draw that line for yourself and say that beyond this is madness.
Well put. Well put. Roshan, I'd like you to comment on this.
I've experimented crossing that line actually, and then very quickly realized that doesn't work for me. It doesn't make any sense.
Roshan, if you don't mind me, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. I just wanted to know which film are we talking about?
No, it wasn't a film. It was
a theatre?
Theatre, yeah. So,
and what happened?
Because it's a safe environment. You can try anything that you want to, and that is the purpose of it. You have to try and like fail and see what works for you, what doesn't. And I got very clear signs that okay, this does not work for me at all. So I don't, now I've reached a point where I don't take the character back home with me, I don't take a lot of the work back home with me or anything. I need to, once we pack up for the day, I need to like fully refresh and relax and empty myself before I come back the next day. So now when it's a really like grey character, a character that sort of has the capability to mess with you, maybe over a period of like a really hectic shoot schedule over a month or so, there might be a few days when you feel little weighed down by it, when you feel little disoriented, when you are like fully empathizing with such a essentially like bad person that you begin to feel like, oh, am I also a bad person? Otherwise, why do I get him so well? But those go off, once shoot is done, like in a matter of a few hours, or if not at most in like a few days, it goes off. And even in that bit where you are weighed down, you're actually secretly having fun with it as an actor, because you're very aware that this is all for a film or for a project. And this might be like I might be like eating my own brain a little bit, or like I'm wasting away doing this, but it's going to be fun when it comes out. There's that running, so we're all a little crazy that way. But
can I give a small example?
Of course.
I had a film that's playing these days on Z5. It's called 8 AM Metro.
Of course, I know it.
And in the end, there is a scene. A lot of people send me messages that that scene made them cry, and like they got really emotional. They shed a tear or something like that. It made me cry also when I read it. They're all fake tears. How does it matter?
Yeah, it does.
It affects
it really does.
I couldn't
cry very well.
Sometimes I can, but I couldn't that day. I'm like, my body has to go there, but my tears are not coming. So I used a stimulant.
Just fine.
To take after take after take. But it's an illusion, right?
Yeah.
So, and I feel particularly proud of that, a little bit pride, because then my skill was right. Application of skill was correct.
Exactly.
My body went there. I did all of those things, except the real tears. It doesn't have to be. I don't care. It's how you make me feel. I don't care if you really cried, you got hurt or something. If I believe it in the illusion is not shattered, and that's when a performance is great.
In fact, a theatre director that I respect a lot, and someone who's also the best performer I've seen, one of the best performers I've seen live on stage, he said that an actor needs to be able to perform the most emotionally intense sequence on stage, which can potentially move an audience to tears while thinking about the biryani he's going to have after the show. And that's beautiful,
nice.
Right?
I like that.
Because
nice.
It's very nice. I relate to this because a lot of times I'm like,
you're actually thinking about
it. There is like, 2.5 hours to go.
So there you go. You're verified by this extremely talented theatre director. But we're talking about different characters. I must say that experiment with characters ki baat chal rahi hai na. In Mutun, which is one of your most critically acclaimed films, and absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I'm bringing it up again.
Don't be sorry for praising it.
No, I'm just saying that we will come to Ulajh, but I just wanted to bring that up. I've seen a lot of your work, so Mutun, I think, was one of the most poignant films that I've seen, and it's wonderfully done. during that time, Nivin and you were asked a lot of questions about were you scared to play a homosexual character and things like that. Of course, we're talking about 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
The man sitting next to you has been wonderful. He's played one of the most favorite characters that I have seen on screen in Badhai Do.
Yeah.
Jungly pictures.
Yeah. I love that film.
I love the film and the way he's done it, and the swag that he has in it, you know. So
I got
just coming back
goosebumps
to
by the time Varun's song comes in the end.
You're rooting for that couple, you know, on screen. So similar, but these questions that come in by which might be bothersome, right? Because as an actor, you only want to go and experiment out there. How did you deal with that? Because it's even during the time, a lot of people were doing a lot of risky work, and you had to constantly justify saying that I'm okay.
The first film ever that I did was with Mr. Mammootty and Nayanthara ma'am, and I played a rapist. And these questions were asked then also, and I didn't think about it because I understood that these questions come from the perspective of, is this going to affect the films that are going to follow this one? And my perspective was, bhai, ye mera pehla picture hai. How do you know that there are going to be films that will follow this one? So on what basis do I decide? You know, when you're doing a film, that is the only film that you're doing. वो picture अच्छी बनी, अगर अच्छा काम किया तुमने, तो एक और पिक्चर मिल सकता है उसके बाद. That is the way it works essentially. Now because of like time that it takes to release and all, maybe the film that I'm going to get out of Ulajh will come a little later, and there will be 2-3 others which will spill over. But essentially that's the logic. So you can't keep your eyes like out in the future and like plan and make your decisions in the present. That doesn't make any sense. If you feel like doing the character, do it.
But I think both Nivin and you had
like people, generally actors also, there is one disease that we suffer from. All of us have gone through it. We suffer unnecessarily in our imagination.
Yeah.
Reality is not so bad.
Yeah, it's not.
But like I said, how did you and Nivin, did you all discuss it at the time? Because I thought it must have been so bothersome because I mean, यहाँ पे इतने सारे critical reviews मिल रहे थे, and then you are going on constantly justifying something that is just a part of it.
We never really discussed it. I think Nivin maybe deserves a lot more praise because he was a much bigger star, you know. I had not nearly as much to lose as say he did if we were to lose something out of it. Not saying that that's going to happen. But we never really discussed it. It never came up. It wasn't a valid point of conversation at all. We like decided to not, I guess, give it any importance.
But which is fantastic. By the time I think it reached you, I think it wasn't that bad for you. I don't think you got that kind of judgment.
What?
5 years back that he got when you did Badhai Do, because everybody
I'm completely not aware of any criticism, and then I'm sorry that it was, you know, looked at that way. But you have thick skin.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. He's like, of course I do. Would you describe Anandam as the film that put you out there?
Yeah, that's the film that turned it around for me in the sense that that's the film that brought me job opportunities. Until then I was auditioning. I remember while I was watching a show of Anandam a few days after it released, I got a call and someone was pitching a project to me. I did not recognize it. It had never happened before. So they're telling me that they have a project that they want me to be part of, and I'm like, so when do I come to audition? They're like, no, we want you to do it. I'm like, huh? Just like that? Like I come and act, you no testing me, nothing. So that's a return. So Anandam's definitely a milestone.
It's fantastic. You know, Gulshan, there's so much discussion about whether networking can get you work, right? And recently, I think Karan went to in an interview mentioned as well that I don't think it's possible कि parties में casting होती है या networking through jobs होते हैं. Whereas a lot of actors have felt and have said that होती है. We are always pushed to go and network, and you know, if you meet people, so that what if you are spotted, you might get the job. This is a very important question because you all don't have people in the industry who are there offering you jobs on a platter when required, right? So I want to know your views on this, Gulshan.
I think it works. I think networking is important, and then some people are able to be very good networkers and some people are not so good at it. You have to find your own, like, you have to make your peace with it. What is networking? Now we have like, spotting in one place is not going to get you a job. What sort of an impression are you going to make with the relevant person?
Because you didn't go to too many Bollywood parties either.
No,
so.
I didn't, but that's a strategy that I chose because I realized that I can't, firstly I didn't have the confidence that I have now. But at that point of time, I was very self-conscious. But I also felt that, okay, I am self-conscious. No, this is not going to change overnight. So then what else can be my strategy? It pushed me in a different direction. Like what everybody are thinking I should do, I can't do that. Even if I can do, I can't be consistent with that. But what is networking? When you go and meet somebody, because it's all based on perception, right? You want to have a positive, even be it an interview or wherever, like for a job you're doing, you want to make a positive impression on somebody. So you make an effort by wearing nice clothes, by greeting them, by being polite, talking nice things to them, and if they are accomplished storytellers and artists, and you compliment them of their work and something like that. You want to make an impression on somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are very good at that. Whether it gets you work all the time, no. It's like cold calling. Like you have to do 500 calls for like 3 of them to buy your insurance policy. Yeah, तो ऐसे है. तो वो हो सकता है, वो consistently करते रहना पड़ेगा. I don't see anything like it shouldn't be a pressure thing that you have to do. It's a
but
good
a lot
thing.
of actors
but I don't agree
advised.
that. No, it's good. Like do it. Like meet people, talk to them, learn how to make an impression.
Yeah.
You get a lot of information. People get to know you also. Sometimes people are genuinely interested in meeting somebody and they're curious about you. They want to know you, who you are. Maybe they're not giving you a job now, but they hear somebody else like we're considering so and so. We're considering Roshan for a role, and the people like he's a great guy. That guy never hired you, but he said you're a great guy. Yeah, I met him. He's very smart, bright, very good guy. Impression that you had effects on it. So try to be genuine. I saw fake impressions.
Yeah, exactly.
You said you don't agree with that part. You don't agree.
No, it works. It helps. It's a game of perceptions. और क्या अपने पास?
वही तो.
नाप तोलने के लिए कुछ नहीं है गुरु.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. What about you? What do you think of it?
Going in with like an ulterior motive of getting work has never really worked out for me, and I feel very uncomfortable doing it. I've been advised, like you said, to.
A lot of actors. Yeah.
In fact, this is a funny story where I was advised once to go meet a director and spend some time together because another actor had dropped out of that particular director's project, and the project was to start soon. So everything's like up in the air right now. And I went, like these guys advise other guys to swoop in when somebody's just broken up or whatever. I went and I neatly got friend zoned, and the project happened. I'm still very good friends with the director. So it's, I don't know, like it's very difficult to do it. It feels really weird to do it with the motive of getting work out of them.
Sure.
Essentially, I guess what should happen out of networking is, you meet somebody, you realize that you vibe, and then you both, or how many ever people there are in that equation, you come to a realization that, hey, if we make something together, it might be fun. It might be fun to collaborate on something together. Let's try and do something. Let's try and kick off a project. Oh, okay, I've had this idea for a while. That I'm fully up for. I'm actually super excited about. I love it when I can be part of a film or a project right from the inception. And that maybe comes out of, being social in a way. But going in with that objective is a little dirty.
No, fair enough. Both of you have very interesting scenes, very intense scenes with Janhvi in the trailer. And one where he's like, that, which is very...
Oh, I made that lewd gesture. Lewd gesture.
I didn't think you made any lewd gesture at all.
It was not...
It looked very... it looked like...
That is my
devilish.
Contribution. It's my contribution to the script. I wrote that gesture.
That is your...
That's true. That wasn't
both the noise and the gesture also, I wrote that. So I want credit for it, and I want a national award also.
Okay.
बकवास कर रहा हूँ मैं. I don't want any award.
You'll get. If उस gesture के लिए बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें जिसके लिए you can get.
National award तो नहीं मिलेगा. People will take offense. क्या? My mummy वो सब ठीक है, लेकिन वो करना जरूरी था क्या?
When she sees an Indian.
ऐसे हिंदी में नहीं बोलेगा, हम लोग हिंदी भाषी नहीं है, लेकिन बोल रहा हूँ हिंदी में.
She said that.
मम्मी ऐसे नहीं बात करती हिंदी में.
But then she says something to you, she sees and she's like, why did you do that? Like, what was the last she said that? Why did you do that?
In some interview, I had said like, I'm the best dry humper in the business, and I mean like in terms of like when you're doing a scene, you get best. Yeah, I figured it out. Okay, I make people really comfortable. So
yeah, you do.
So she was like, yeah, but did you have to say that word? So I get the point. Yeah, sometimes my words are like can be a bit shocking, or my
she's already
winding
said
mountain road way of getting to a point can be a bit like misleading.
I mean, I haven't seen the film, but I think you have interesting chemistry with.
We have good chemistry, no? ऐसे दिख के लगा ना.
Both of you, because then there is anger and intent. The intent is very there with even in his scene, the one where he's screaming at her. So I want to understand how was doing those intense scenes.
With Janhvi, she would during rehearsals, during scenes, she'll have like really pointers about the scene and like, very intelligent things to say and choices, and sometimes even about the character, some observations. They were all there. And you will see in the film and in the song sequence and the scenes and that's what you have, you
I saw it.
Yeah, you're feeling it, right? Yeah.
I'm feeling it. 100%.
And you've been in the business for a long time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun working with Janhvi, actually. It was great fun, because I came in obviously with like my idea of her was primarily from the films that I'd seen of her. I hadn't really seen a lot of her interviews or seen her in life otherwise, obviously. So it was only from the films that I came in with, and she proved all of those prejudgments of mine wrong very early on. And I was also very quick to give her credit for the kind of sensibility that she carried and the amount of hard work she was doing, and the fact that she was very aware of the responsibility that she was bearing in a film like Ulajh, with a character like Suhana. And I actually literally told her that one of the first few times that we spent time together. And even to that, she had a very sensible, mature response. And from then on, like most of my scenes in the film are with her. And we have a very tricky character equation also to figure out in our respective journeys in the film. And I had a lot of fun figuring that out with Janhvi. So it's not just the emotionally intense sequences where those yelling and fighting and all going on. It's actually tougher to get the little things.
The nuances.
Yeah. And tiny little things where it's just two bodies understanding each other or responding to each other in a space. That sort of thing.
What?
Why did you suddenly shift position?
No, because I want to pay more attention because I have a herniated disc in my
right.
cervical area.
It was just.
So I'm just trying to make it easier to turn here. My neck is turning a bit stiff.
You turned at two bodies. I don't know why you turned it. Even he got conscious. And
sorry, I didn't.
Roshan got so conscious.
No, but basically.
No, I have disc damage in my.
Yeah, I was saying it's not tiny nudges and turns and maneuvers that are trickier to get. And once that started happening, then we were both very excited. And Sudhanshu was also very excited. Had a lot of fun working with her.
No. I think Suhana's character has a very tricky situations with most of the relationships
people around her. Yeah. With her dad, who's Adil Hussein's character.
Tricky.
Yeah, with him.
Sir, मेरे साथ very easy है.
बिल्कुल नहीं है, तुम्हारे साथ तो सबसे ज़्यादा tricky है.
पता नहीं, ये बोल रहा है तो मैं मान. He's a good guy.
Both of you are fantastic, man. I discussed it with Janhvi, saying that in the trailer, they show how she's actually trying to manage the male egos around her. They are constantly questioning her because she's this young woman who's become this massive IS officer who's now in the diplomatic front. A lot of women who feel like they're not taken seriously if they are young, or it's questioned that either they're sleeping with someone or they're doing it to get the job. In fact, a lot of young men also feel that at the times, not just women. What are your thoughts on it? Because very interesting narrative and track. It's very, very relevant in all fields.
It's true. It's very much a reality. It's I've had female bosses also, and then I would admit to it. Sometimes it's a bit difficult, particularly when they are being tough on you. So it's a little men have too much testosterone. Sometimes you don't know what to do with it. So it's like that. It is that. It's that there is a certain conditioning. There is people have different ways to sort of respond to it. But we have not figured out an effective way to sort of deal with that sort of a thing. Like the same, like that other show that I was part of also, like Bad Cop, where I'm a junior cop and my wife is actually my senior. And then there is issues because of that. And then the husband accuses the wife of being an ass kisser and all of those things like that. It's very, very, very relevant. It's very much there. This is not an easy subject. Yes, we have to sort of allow for this and accept that this is happening, but there are also tricky ways. Now I can't behave like I can be like, hey, buddy, and I can do that. I can't do the same with you. Unless we are really friends or something like that. There is the politics of gender is a very complicated subject, and it's a difficult conversation. It will take time. It's just that we are not willing to have it.
Sure.
If we have to submit to it and we have to have that difficult conversation. There are many things that I don't understand. I haven't figured everything out.
Sure.
There are many things I don't understand. Sometimes I don't know. I'm like, my ego is hurt and this woman is hurting my ego. I don't know what to do with it. So I just, best thing is to do nothing in such situations and then think about it later.
Yeah.
How do you look at the hierarchy? that exists even in Bollywood. But it's true that that kind of hierarchy, that kind of camp that people keep referring to exists here as well, like other places, right?
Here,
in
yeah,
Bollywood.
yeah, there's an imaginary thing. Yeah, it's also very cultural. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? Dealing with,
I don't
because
like
you're.
it. I don't like it.
Of course.
I'm very pro dignity for labor. I don't want this, like, this is a bigger job, the higher the responsibilities may be bigger, but then
Have you been ever
discriminated? No, but I've seen people being discriminated. I've been, I was going to have lunch one day at a place when people said that, no sir, this is for those people. Your lunch is over there, which is much nicer and all those things like that. So I feel that, it bothers me. There's nothing really, I'll tell you, I feel very helpless. There's nothing I can do. Because here on this set, I may tell them that, hey, you don't need to really stand up every time I'm passing by or offer me your chair. You don't need to do this. But maybe, I don't know, in another set, somebody else might expect them to do that way. Or like hold their umbrellas or bring things to them. I don't know. There are lots of these things. It bothers me.
Roshan, you've worked with massive superstars, and you're someone who's extremely popular, Malayalam cinema and your movies. How do you look at this conversation as well, right? You worked with Niven, you worked with, like you said, Nayanthara, all of those people. How do you look at that differentiation that a lot of actors sometimes have to face?
You're talking about the hierarchy thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying at times. I feel like a lot of it is also, sort of like a vicious circle. It continues because it is being given. It's sort of being accepted. Nobody's really questioning it, so it's continuing. But I feel like I have a lot of hope in the in the people who I've worked with and people who I've seen in the films that I've been part of, people who I've been on set with. I feel like a lot of these things are already changing. In some places, it's almost like it's non-existent. I've had a situation where actors were given steel plates to eat off of, and the rest of the crew had plastic plates. All of that is so illogical, but I've only seen that once, and this is back when I started. It's about 8-9 years ago, and since then I haven't seen it ever again. So I've seen enough signs of this changing that gives me a little bit of hope, and I feel like there are enough sensible people out there in the world, and now a lot of us are talking about this very, very often, and there are films which are discussing themes like this. All of that is going to also become conditioning. So this weight of conditioning that we've been carrying, this is also going to condition people who are going to come. And the social inequality that's there is a very cultural thing. It's not that it's there in the film industry. It comes from outside. It seeps in. Everywhere they're like, these people are like that. I think film industry is a great place to sort of make a change for this because it's a quite diverse group of people come and work together on one project. So it's a great place to to sort of set an example. I think it's a great place to sort of kind of get rid of this social inequality.
Alright, some fun questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, common questions for the both of you. So after you can just answer that question. Okay,
right.
The first question is, a rumor about yourself that makes you laugh.
That me and Kalki were dating. Please, have you seen us together? We fight a lot. We can never date. Long but.
What about you?
I don't know, I can't think of one.
Really?
Rumors.
Anything that's something ridiculous, like when you read it, you're like, oh, this is funny, really. Like that.
I mean, when Poacher came out, there was a news article that was printed that said Richie and I used to have a lot of fights on set. Which is just really ridiculous for me. Yeah. And I sent it to him and he sent it to me and we had a laugh.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, a misconception about you that the people who don't know might harbor.
Just because I was critical about something about Virat Kohli, they think I hate him. I respect the shit out of the guy. He's one of the greatest players ever.
You think they
and
don't
you
like
see the comments इतना भी hardcore मत हो यार क्या है
They
महान
think
आदमी
you
है मैं
don't
मान
like-
लेता हूँ नहीं कुछ भी criticize हो ही नहीं सकता ना आजकल वो fan culture ऐसा हो गया ना There's no room for any kind of discussion.
Yeah, but
Please,
you of
this is
course
terrible.
like Virat Kohli.
Of course, I love the shit out of the man. He's one of the greatest players we've ever produced in this country. I'm very proud that I belong to a country where he was born.
True. We all are. But no, that's really funny because obviously you love
It's not
Virat Kohli.
funny, but then I'm taking it in good spirit. It's fine. I'm taking it in good spirit, but then there should be some room for a little bit of discussion. White and black नहीं हो सकता है थोड़ा.
No, 100%. Okay, what about you? A misconception that you think the world harbors about you? People who don't know you.
A lot of people think that I'm not very approachable and slightly intimidating. I think that's ridiculous. I'm actually quite a people pleaser.
You think you're a people pleaser? Okay. Who, according to you, now it has to be a little bit filmy, na? So name me an actor from the industry who you think is a very ulja hua and one who's very sulja hua.
I feel like Prithvi is very sulja hua, very
Nice.
clear in his
Nice,
head.
yeah.
The ulja hua one I'm thinking I'm stuck on.
Okay, an actor maybe whom you really think is doing fantastic choices and stuff like that. Can be anybody.
I think a lot of them. I think Karthik is doing great, Rajkumar is doing great, and then Vijay is doing great. Vijay. All of these people I really admire, like, look up
Karthik
to.
Aryan, right?
Yeah.
Like Shashank Arora.
Yeah.
Yeah, what great work he's doing. And he just disappears and then he
This is a
comes
good
back
one.
with something that like Superman or no. It's so
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, ho gaya?
I think I'm
And
kidding.
the last one is a genre that you'd like to try and no one's offering you from it.
There's nothing that doesn't exist. I feel for all sorts of
Look at
genres.
you.
Sab kuch.
Okay. What about you?
I have nothing on the table right now, but offers have
Hey,
come
your
before. Yuck. Horror.
Horror.
ले भाई इनको ले
Yeah.
इनको दवाई करना चाहते
हाँ.
हैं मेरी जान छोड़ो
Okay, the movie obviously is a thriller. उलझ जैसे कि हम बात कर रहे थे तो हम ऐसे कुछ बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग से प्लॉट लाइंस बोलूंगी मैं. It makes no sense. I'll give you 4 options and you'll have to tell me which one is the correct answer. Hindi films, Bollywood films, and the
ठीक है.
plot lines are not might sound a little different.
ठीक
Are
है.
you okay?
हाँ
Okay.
I am okay. Yes, I feel okay.
A woman dies and burdens her preteen daughter by instructing her to reunite with her father.
Pass.
You want to try this? A woman dies.
So what are the clues?
And-
Yeah. Give the options.
Options.
Okay. Waqt, Race Against Time, which has Priyanka and Akshay Kumar. Namaste London. We Are Family.
हाँ.
And कुछ कुछ होता है.
कुछ
कुछ होता है.
कुछ होता है
By options is becoming very easy.
Yeah.
टाइम नहीं है ना तो
Actually, just read the options from here.
Okay.
Okay, go.
This I'm not giving an option for.
Eh.
2 men pretend to be gay and end up falling in love for their
Dostana.
landlord. Okay. 3 roommates.
the one that got made not the one that didn't get made
3 roommates go on a weird adventure when they receive a call that is not meant for them. 3 men, 3 roommates.
हेरा फेरी
See, you're good at this. Okay, the last one I have to go. Man refuses to let his best friend get married because he's clingy. Man refuses to let his best friend get married because he's clingy. Do you want the options?
Yeah.
Okay. कल हो ना हो, ये जवानी है दीवानी,
ये जवानी है दीवानी
लव आजकल,
नहीं
and सोनू की टिट्टू की स्वीटी.
सोनी की टीटू की स्वीटू की मम्मी की दूध वाले की चाय
So you're going, what do you want? Do you want ये जवानी?
सोनी की the one that I haven't seen so I think that's the one सोनी की टीटू
Whatever.
की
You want to take a
He's on-
wild guess?
स्वीटू
Yeah,
की पनीर टिक्का
Yeah, he sounds very confident and I trust Gulshan. I haven't seen Sonu Gupta.
So you both are going to go for Sonu Gupta.
Yeah.
And that is the right answer. For people who have not seen these films, you all have answered everything correctly.
I didn't see
There
this.
you go. What will happen if you start seeing all the films?
Sorry,
No,
Karthik.
that last one's the only one I haven't seen.
Oh, others were okay.
Yeah.
Well done. But wishing you all the best and thank you for entertaining us for so many years with fantastic work. Both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Ta-da-da.
Thank you, Gulshan.